In the last video, I talked about how we financed our new home in Calabria. But today I want to talk about the part that probably sounds completely insane. We bought our property in Italy without ever seeing it in person first. And honestly, if someone told me that a few years ago, I probably would have thought they were crazy. Buying property in another country, in another language, thousands of miles away, without physically walking through it yourself, it sounds risky. And honestly, it absolutely can be. But for us, it made sense. Not because we're careless, not because we got emotionally attached to pretty listings online, and definitely not because we were willing to gamble with our future. It made sense to us because we had the right people helping us before we even made an offer. And honestly, that's what this video is really about. Because buying property in Italy is not just about finding a beautiful listing online. It's about understanding what you're actually buying. The legal side, the technical side, the paperwork, the risks, and all the things you might not even know to ask about. For us, it came down to one thing: due diligence. Basically, slowing down and doing the work before you make a major decision. Because in Italy, a property can look beautiful online and still have serious issues behind the scenes. There can be permit problems, paperwork issues, ownership complications, unauthorized changes, or official records that don't match the actual property. And as Americans buying overseas, we knew we were not qualified to evaluate all of that ourselves. So after figuring out the financing, the very first thing we did was to hire an attorney in Italy. Not after finding the property, not after making an offer, before. After speaking with a few different attorneys, we decided to work with Luca from Italian Property Lawyers. I'll leave Luca's information down below because honestly, he became one of the most important parts of this entire process. And what stood out to us immediately was that Luca understood that this was bigger than just buying a vacation home. And for us, this was a long-term life decision. And when you're buying property in another country, emotions can take over really fast. Dreams take over, listings take over. You start imagining your future there before you even know whether the property is actually a smart purchase. And we needed someone who could help keep us grounded. Originally, we did consider flying over to Italy ourselves to look at properties. But the more we thought about it, the more we realized something important. Even if we flew there, we still would not really know what we were looking at. Sure, we could decide whether we liked the town, the view, the balcony, the overall feeling of the place, but we still would not know whether the property was legally or technically sound. And because we already spent a lot of time in Calabria, we already knew we loved the area. The real question was whether each individual property was actually a good purchase. And that's where Luca became incredibly valuable. Once we found the listings we were interested in, everything went to Luca first. We would send him several listings at a time, and he would help us narrow down things before we got emotionally invested. He reviewed the listings, answered questions, pointed out concerns, and guided the process from the legal side. Then once we narrowed things down to the serious contenders, Luca coordinated with Leonardo, a local architect in Calabria. And Leonardo became our eyes and ears on the ground. He wasn't just walking through the property saying, "Oh, that looks nice." He was evaluating them professionally: the layout, the condition, the potential problems, and whether what we were seeing online actually matched reality. There was even one listing that Leonardo didn't even want to go see the property. After one phone call, he already knew there was major problems. And honestly, moments like that really showed us the value of having experienced local professionals involved. Because from where we were sitting in Nevada, the listings looked promising. The photos looked great, the prices looked attractive, but Leonardo knew to ask the right questions. He knew the warning signs. And he saved us from wasting time, money, and energy on properties that were never a good option to begin with. Honestly, having Leonardo evaluate properties probably saved us thousands of dollars. Because flying back and forth to Italy is expensive. Flights, hotels, transportation, food, time away from work. And even with spending all of that money to get there, we would still need someone like Leonardo to tell us whether the property was actually sound. So instead of spending thousands of dollars traveling just to look at properties ourselves, we invested that money into professional guidance. And for us, that made far more sense. Now, as Americans, we hear the word inspection and we think of a home inspector checking the roof, plumbing, electrical, and foundation. But in Italy, the process is very different. An architect or a geometra also evaluate whether the property legally matches the official records. Were there walls removed? Was a balcony enclosed? Was there a room added without authorization? Does the actual layout match the official floor plans? Those are things we would have never known how to evaluate ourselves, and that's why Leonardo became so valuable. He sent detailed reports, photos, videos, comments, and explanation, and Luca helped us to understand what all of those findings meant legally. That combination made all the difference. We wanted qualified professionals help guide us through the process, and for us, having professional guidance up front felt a lot less expensive than making a massive major mistake. So yes, technically we bought sight unseen, but we did not buy blindly. And I think that distinction really matters. There were properties we got excited about first. The properties looked amazing online, but then the reports came back and the videos came back, the legal questions started coming up, and suddenly that reality looked very different. Honestly, our team saved us from walking straight into some disasters. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in the next video. Next time, I'm going to walk you through some of the actual properties we seriously considered. The ones that looked promising, the ones with beautiful views and lots of potential, and the ones that ultimately turned out to be total duds. And I'm also really excited because Luca is actually going to be joining me in a future video to talk more about the legal side of buying property in Italy. So if you have questions for him, leave them down in the comments. Would you ever buy property sight unseen if you had the right team helping you, or would that still be too terrifying? Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can follow along. Thank you so much for watching Halfway to Italia. I'll see you in the next video.